Alright, what is going on? It is Nate, and we're back with another video. Today, my topic is let go and let God, right? So I'm going to talk about the balance, or kind of like the weird limbo between, focusing on your goal, striving for your goal, but also allowing room for God to arrange things, right? You have to understand that it's not us that is doing these things. It's not us that's, completing these tasks or bringing the people into your life or bringing these opportunities or, all these different things. It's not like we can't do it by force. And so you have to learn this skill. It's more of like an art, honestly, of figuring out what you want, communicating that idea to God, and then kind of letting go. And a lot of people take this the wrong way, and they think, oh, that means, you have to just not think about it ever, not do anything, and just lay around and hope for the best. And that's very far from the truth. It is actually quite the opposite. But it's this kind of like this mindset, I guess you would say, where you're relaxed, right? So I'll talk about kind of the 3-step process of the way things work, and then kind of like the step I'm in or whatever. But anyway, so first things first, right? You decide on what it is you want, whether it's, money or a car or whatever it is, a relationship, whatever it is that you are going after, you decide on it, right? And you make a committed decision. You say, I'm doing this. I'm earning this much money by this date. I'm buying this car by this date. I'm moving here by this date, or, whatever it is, right? You make your committed decision that I'm doing this, or I'm quitting my job by this day and I'm going to make all my money online. Whatever it is. You make a committed decision. And then based off that, right? So now you have your committed decision. So what that does is that puts you on that new frequency, right? If you want to know more about that, check out my last video. It was like 30 minutes long, strictly going over the power of decision and what that does. But right, so now you're on that frequency. You're thinking on that level. You're thinking about how, you're doing this, I may not know how, but I'm doing it. But then you kind of enter this stage of panic, right? Your mind's like, you don't know how to do that. What are you doing? You don't know how to earn that money. You don't know what to do. You don't know where the money's going to come from. You don't have the clients. You don't have the followers, right? Your brain just basically, your mind's on warfare mode. It's like, hey, whoa, this is not you. You don't know how to do that, right? And so you go through this stage of basically fighting your mind. And you don't want it to be a fight, because the more you fight, the bigger the fight gets. You kind of just have to understand that your past conditioning is going to try to overtake your new thoughts. And so you have to understand, look, okay, when I tell myself I'm earning $100,000 the next month, like, yeah, my mind's going to freak out because I've never done that before, right? So it's natural that it's going to be like, hey, whoa, like, that's not you. And it'll kind of enter panic mode. And so you'll go through this for a couple weeks. Or, I mean, it depends. The time period is different for everybody. But you go through this period of convincing yourself, basically, that you're doing it, right? You hold true to it. You say, I'm doing it. You may not really believe it yet. You may not feel it as true. You may not see where the money's going to come from, but you're kind of like pounding that into your mind, right? You're planting the seed. So then you go through this period of where the seed is planted, but you can't yet see the harvest, right? So it's kind of like, the best example I give is like a girl, like someone getting pregnant, right? The seed gets planted, you find out they're pregnant, but then there's like that period where you can't really tell, you can't really see anything, but then you can start seeing it like a little bit later, right? There's this time period that elapses where you're almost in this rest period. So things move slow. It feels like nothing's happening. It feels like, maybe God never got your message. Maybe he doesn't know what you want. Maybe nothing is working out for you. But you're in this, at least for me, I'm in this stage of peace. Like, I know it's coming. I know the money's coming. I know the business is coming. I know that all these things are going to work out perfectly. I'm not stressed. I don't have a doubt in my mind. Like, I fully believe it, but there's just nothing really happening yet, right? There's not these big moves or these huge ideas coming to me. And so I'm in this period of where God is moving everything in order to get everything in order for me to make that move, for me to take the next steps, and for me to take the advancement, right? You can't just communicate to him, bam, get it instantly. And so there's always this, I call it the rest period, but it's the period, where he's got the message. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're not convincing yourself, but you're holding true to it. You're thinking about it, but you're not like forcing anything. And then you enter stage 3 where, I guess this is kind of 4. So step 1, you make the decision. Step 2, you work on pounding that into your mind. Step 3, you enter the rest period. Step 4 is where your life moves so fast, right? It's where it's like, holy smokes, like, this is happening. I did this. And you look back and you're like, wow, I just built this whole entire business and got all these clients and did all this in 30 days, right? So you enter this period where everything just flows. That's when you get into flow state, right? So you figured out what you wanted. You're staying on that frequency. You communicated the message to God. God is now arranging things for you, and then things begin to move. People start coming to you. Opportunities start opening up, right? All these ideas start flowing to you. All the right things just start to come into your life. It's almost like right now God is putting the doors that are right around you, like you're surrounded by all these doors, but he hasn't yet opened them. But then that stage 4 is where all of them get opened. And it's like, honestly, they all get opened at one time. It's crazy. So you have to understand that this is the process, right? You're not going to be able to decide on what you want and immediately that day, like, get it, right? But what happens is a lot of people think, okay, let go and let God. That means that they don't have to take any action. They don't have to do anything. But here's the truth, is this period of rest, is what I call it, is where you may not really have any ideas. So your job is strictly to continue to build the vision. You need to continue imagining it, thinking about it, figuring it out, writing it out. Take the actions that you already know how to take while holding the image, right? So you're still taking the actions, but don't stress yourself because you don't know exactly what you should be doing, because the actions aren't what's important here, but you just don't want to forget about what you're going after. But then once God starts revealing all these actions, they're going to be weird and they're going to make you nervous and you're going to be scared and you're not going to want to do them and it's going to be uncomfortable. And that's where most people fail. They get the message communicated. God starts to give them these opportunities. They're like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't have a good feeling. That makes me nervous. And they don't do it. And then bam, everything falls apart. So you have to understand, like, that's part of the process. Like, if you start getting these ideas and they make you uncomfortable, or you feel like you should reach out to someone, you don't know why, or maybe someone calls you and you're like, wow, they haven't called me in years, right? These weird things start happening. These people that maybe have been in your life and you didn't know why they're in your life, they'll start to kind of come forward and you're like, whoa, what's going on? So that is when things are fun. Like, in my opinion, that's when things get really fun because everything just flows. And your job is to just stay in that flow state. Don't fight it. Don't force it. Just let it happen. And once it happens, just let it keep happening. Don't go against it. Don't lose your momentum. Just let it keep flowing. But a lot of people right now is when they give up, because it's like that time where they don't have the ideas. They're not fighting the mental battle, but nothing's really happening, and so they lose faith. But the thing is, right now is when you're kind of being tested in a way. It's like, okay, if, you know, God's like, I got the message, and so there's a time period that must elapse, right? The law of gestation. So there's a time period between when God gets the idea, when you communicate it to him, and the time period when you actually get it in your life physically. So your job is just to hold true to the vision, and not let go. Like, it's such a weird balance, because yeah, you let go of, here's the best way I can say it. You let go of trying to control the way things are going to happen. That's what it is. It's letting go of trying to figure out where the money's going to come from, trying to figure out where the clients are going to come from, trying to figure out where the followers are going to come from, trying to figure out what video you need to post. You know, no. That's not your job. Because the truth is, the money's going to come from a place you didn't expect. The clients are going to come from a place you didn't expect. The money, you know, the business is going to be a business you didn't expect. Like, all this stuff that happens is usually completely out of left field, right? It's the bridge of incidences. So it's a lot of stuff that happens that you could have never guessed, but it's the easiest way possible, because basically once you communicate the idea to God, not his job, I mean, I don't want to say that, but like, the method that he uses is you get it in the easiest way possible. So whatever way is easiest for it to manifest into your life is the way that it comes. And so usually that way is not the way that you expected. So you have to let go of how it's going to happen, right? So you're letting go of the how and you're sticking to the I'm doing this. So it's this balance, like I was saying, but the let go just means you let go of how. Let go of how it's going to happen. Let go of how the clients are going to come. Let go of how the money's going to be there. Let go of how you're going to go viral. You know, let go of it, but believe that it's happening. So you have to live from the end. So you live in the state of, I'm earning $100,000 this month. I don't know how, but God does, and God is showing me the way every day, and I'm taking every action that he gives me, right? So it's this balance of, I don't know how, and I'm okay with that. Once you get comfortable with not knowing how, you can do anything, because you'll be able to live any life, because you're okay with not knowing how it's going to all work out, but knowing it's all going to work out to the best of your abilities, or the best of your will, or God's will for you, or whatever. So, you know, this is your sign to see what step you're on. Like, a lot of people are probably only going to be on step 1, right? You're trying to figure out what it is that you actually want, what it is that you're actually going to go after, what is your big goal. And then, you know, a lot of people, they'll try to plant the seed for a day or two, and then that's it. Like, I started saying I was going to make 100K per month in the next 45 days, and so it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I started planting that idea in my mind, right? So now it's like, a lot of people be like, oh wow, like, it's only 22 days, like, how am I going to earn 100K in 22 days? And the truth is, you don't know the timing, right? We don't know when everything's going to manifest. The timing is just to create that urgency in your mind, so you don't just forget about it and be like, oh yeah, I'll do it later. And so it's like, if I don't hit the 100K by the 22nd day, it's not like, it doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means it's not happening yet physically. It's just not here yet. But if you're 45 days in and you don't even have any action steps to take, then yeah, you're doing something wrong. Like, God doesn't know what you want. But, you know, by then, as long as you start getting these actionable steps or these things that you should be doing, then don't stress about when it's going to come. But, you know, like I said, if you're a month in and you're not even getting ideas on what to do, then, you know, you probably need to go back to communicating the message to God, because he doesn't you're communicating different things, so he doesn't know what you want. Like you don't just get something you think about one time. You get what your desire is, what you're obsessed about, and so you have to obsess over it. You have to really create that vision. So yeah, so figure out what step you're on and figure out, you know, what you need to do next. What stage is next for you? Because the stage, honestly, where you're trying to convince yourself and believe it is the hardest part. That's when the devil tries to take over and tries to be like, oh, you can't do that. Look at your bank account. Look at your business. Look at your followers. Look at this. You can't do that. You don't know how to do that. You don't have the followers. You don't have the money. You've never done this before. And that's when you say, I'm doing this. I don't care. I'm doing this. And once you can get through that, that's when it starts to flow. So like, I know things are about to flow really fast, really soon. And so it's like, just, you know, you just kind of stay patient, and then bam, you'll blink your eyes and it'll all happen. So I hope this helps. But, you know, just to recap again, letting go is letting go of the how, not letting go of like the desire. Like, you're not letting go of, you know, you're not just giving up, but it's a let go of how it's going to happen, letting go of how it's all going to work out, and knowing that it is all going to work out perfectly, and it's going to work out in the perfect timing, because God's timing is always perfect timing. So don't try to force things. You can't get in the way of the creative process. That's the biggest thing. You cannot try to control the way it's going to happen, because you are not allowing God to step in. So letting go of the how is allowing God to step in and work things out the way they need to be worked out for you to get what it is that you want. So decide on what you want. Plant that image into your mind, right? Meditate on it. Think about it. Write the goal card. Read it over and over and over. Think about it all day long. Create that mental image. And do that every day. And even once you've communicated the message, you still got to think about it. You still got to read the card. You still got to visualize it. You still got to imagine it. But it won't be a force anymore. It'll be a part of your natural thoughts. And then that's when it starts to happen, because now it's a habit to think about that, right? I've made it a habit to think about how I'm earning $100,000 in the next 22 days because I've thought about it for over the last 21 days, right? 3 weeks makes a habit. So it's naturally flowing through my mind. I'm not having to really plant it. I'm still planting it, but, you know, it on idle, even my mind is thinking about it. So hope this helps. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's all for this video. I may post a trading video tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it public or just post it private for my group, but keep an eye out for that if so. And if not, I will catch you guys tomorrow.